Abundance are not just centered around finances and stuff, but it includes areas such as peace, joy, happiness, love, long suffering. But also God specifically speaks to the quality of life here on earth. I say this with all due respect because I've heard people say various things, but I want to just, for the record, let it be known that I don't want to have to die in order to enjoy what God has for me. I mean that with all sincerity. I don't want to have to die in order to enjoy what God says He has for me. But what I've come to understand is that oftentimes a lot of people find themselves stuck where they are simply because, again, they aren't prepared. And it's not the youth's fault. I'm glad this is Youth Sunday because oftentimes we begin to blame it on the children, but it's not always the children's fault. Oftentimes we are where we are and the children are where they are because of lack of encouragement and lack of motivation, lack of exposure. They've never seen anyone live in abundance. They've heard about it, but they never seen it. They don't understand that there is something beyond where they are right now. The minds have become closed to the concept or to the idea that they can live like that also. Yes, sir. Lack of parental nurturing, lack of parental encouragement sometimes creates generational curses. Makes people feel embarrassed and unworthy. You know, I was raised, y'all know my story. I was raised on a farm. I'm not ashamed of it. Amen. Born and raised on a farm in North Louisiana. Grew up farming, grew up with cows, chicken, horses, pigs, cows, you know, you name it. I grew up doing it. Purple hull peas, potato patches, and corn. Picking cotton and all this kind of stuff. But because my parents wanted me, my brother, my sister to have a life a little bit better than theirs, every now and then, Brother Peters, we would jump in the car, man. They'd pile us all in the car and we'd go to town. And like I told them, kind of like up in Palestine, when you go to town, you going somewhere. You know, you don't just get in the car and go to town when you're in the country and you're there in about 2-3 minutes. When we went to town, we were going to be riding for a minute. And on a good day, they would take us to Minden, Louisiana. And in Minden, Louisiana, there was old Minden Road. And when we was really good, they take us to Bossier City. We get to Bossier City, we look for Old Benton Road or Airline Highway, and we would go down Old Benton Road, Airline Highway, old Minden Road, and on the right side and on the left side, there were nice mansions. Those big, beautiful homes were just lined up the road, and we would drive down the road in our 1964 Chevrolet Biscayne. And Mama then would drive slow and let us look at the nice houses on the right side and the nice houses on the left. My brother, my sister, and I, we'd be saying, oh, that was mine over there. We claimed that one. Oh, no, that was yours, but that was mine over there. We start claiming folks' stuff. Knowing that at the end of the day, we had to go back to Cotton Valley, Louisiana. Knowing that at the end of the day, we were going to go back to the very house that we had left earlier that morning. But what Mama wanted us to see, Mama wanted us to see and to recognize that we didn't have to stay where we were. Mama wanted to expose us to something a little bit better that would give us a few incentives to work a little bit harder. All the way back to the house. We're no longer going down Airline Drive. We're no longer going down Benton Road. We're no longer down Old Minden Road. We're back on the back road now, Highway 167, trying to get back to the valley. But we still talking about them houses we saw. Those houses were ingrained in our minds and they were etched in stone, and we were thinking and saying, you know, one day my brother said, well, I want the one with the big circle driveway, but I said, I want that one that got that pool in the backyard. My sister was talking about she wanted the one that had the nice little windows, all them curly things, them frilly little things. That's what my sister wanted. But it didn't matter. Mama was planting a seed. She thought she was just taking us on a ride. She thought she was just showing us some nice houses. But what Mama was actually doing, Cruz, is that she was planting a seed. So that one day her little children would say, you know what? I want something like that. I want to start preparing myself for bigger and for better. Back in the day, I heard one of my other brothers told me, back in the day, didn't get to watch a whole lot of TV. But there were certain TV shows that Mama and them would let us watch. My grandmama, she would let me sit there and watch Lawrence Welk with her. I sit there and I have to watch Hee Haw. Y'all ever watch Hee Haw? We watched Hee Haw. We watched Gunsmoke. We watched stuff like Hogan's Heroes. We watched all that kind of stuff. But there was a show that would come on as I got a little bit older called The Cosbys. We didn't get to watch a whole lot of other stuff, but when The Cosby Show would come on, they say, y'all come in here and sit down and watch The Cosby. You trying to figure out, well, why they let you watch The Cosbys? Not just because they wanted us to see some black folk living and doing pretty good. I had to check my scene. You got to know what you're working with. Not just because they wanted us to see some black folk living good, but they also wanted us to envision ourselves living like that. We didn't have VH1 and BET and all that stuff. We was watching something that was making a deposit. Watch this. You got to be prepared to carry your own load and to bear your own burden, because there's going to come a time where the person who's packing you won't be around. Y'all heard me tell the story many times over. I don't care if I'm telling it again today. You've heard it before. Just listen again. Born in Cotton Valley, Louisiana. Hence, we grew cotton. My great uncle, Uncle Moochie, did not believe in the machine cotton pickers, because the machine cotton pickers left too much cotton in the bowl. So he would have us at a very young, tender age out in the field, and he would hire other people to go through the field and to manually pick the cotton from the bowl and put them in our croaker sack. Now, I was a young tot with a small croaker sack on my back. Wow. And Uncle Moochie would carry 3 rows on the right and 3 rows on the left. And he would pick from his rows and put them in his bag, his bag, and pick from his left side and put them in his bag. But every now and then, he would leave a little cotton ready for me to grab off the boat and put it in my bag. But watch this. I was sitting on the back of his bag. I was a young tot. I wasn't too heavy. So he pulled his heavy bag of cotton down the road as he was working side to side. Every now and then he'd leave a little cotton for me to grab and throw it in my bag just to make me feel like I was doing something. But I was just riding his sack down that road. I was loving it. We'd go all the way to the end of the road, turn around with me on his sack, and he'd go back down. He'd catch another 3 on the left, another 3 on the right. Every now and then, he'd leave a little cotton for me to catch and put in my bag. And I would proudly grab the cotton, pluck it out of the bowl, and put it in my bag. But there came a day where he said, "Look here, son, you got to get up off my bag now. You've gotten a little heavy. I can't carry you and my load too." He said, "You've got to begin to carry not only your own bag, but you got to carry your own rolls." I just needed to stop by Tabernacle and tell some folk, you've been letting other folk carry your burden long enough. That God has said it's time for you to get up. Tell your neighbor, it's got time to carry your own road. Tell them if they look up, step them on the leg and tell them, time to carry your own road.